When you hear Windows 11, you usually think either laptop, desktop, or even tablet PC. What if Windows 11 was also a handheld gaming PC? Hi, my name is Ben, one of your product evangelists working with Microsoft here on Expert Zone UK and I, and in today's video, we'll be taking a look at the Asus ROG Ally, a handheld Windows 11 powered gaming PC that takes the pillar of easier to play, puts it in the palm of your hands, and allows you to take it in pretty much most places and anywhere you can go and game in more places. This will be more of an overview giving you all the key things you need to know. But for how unique the ROG Ally is, we will indeed touch on the gaming performance. Buckle up and let's get into it. Let's start with the design and build. The ROG Ally follows a lightweight and sturdy design, and it's weighing in around 608 grams using a high-grade polycarbonate material and comes in one color, which is white. What stands out is how comfortable the ROG Ally is and shows a great care and consideration as the buttons are well placed and easy to reach. Speaking of buttons, if you're familiar with the Xbox controller, then you will feel absolutely right at home with the ROG Ally. But with some additional touches and extras, you've got the same A, B, X, Y layout, the same analog stick positions, a circle D-pad, and the familiar trigger and bumper buttons at the top. Where though the ROG Ally takes things a bit further is the additional M1 and M2 macro buttons at the back, which can be reconfigured for extra functions in software, which we will touch more on that later. For the rest of the buttons, at the top we have a power button which also doubles up as a fingerprint scanner with support for Windows Hello fingerprint unlock, and also a volume rocker as well. For the left side, we have the command center button and also the view button. And on the right side, we have the Armoury Crate button and the menu button. The ROG Ally is not short of buttons, and the ability to remap the buttons and also the triggers and even the vibration intensity in software, this is giving you maximum control for your controller. In terms of ports, at the top is one 3.5mm combo audio port, one micro SD card slot at UHS 2 speeds, and one ROG XG mobile interface and a USB-C port. The display experience has got to be one of the most integral part of the ROG Ally, and that's thanks to the 7-inch 16:9 aspect ratio IPS LCD display with a 1920x1080p resolution, support for 10-point multi-touch, and most importantly, a 120Hz high refresh rate with support for variable refresh rate VRR using AMD FreeSync Premium, backed with a 500 nits peak brightness display. And also, this is something that you have to consider is a big deal in this emerging handheld gaming market, as having the combination of a 1080p resolution and 120Hz is one thing, but VRR is a major thing in helping you have a visually smooth gaming experience even when games are not always hitting that magical 60 FPS and beyond. Things really start to get fun here, because at the heart of what powers and drives the overall performance of the Asus ROG Ally is the specs and performance. Our particular Asus ROG Ally is powered by the AMD Z1 Extreme processor with AMD Radeon RDNA 3 graphics, 16GB of LPDDR5 RAM, and 512GB of SSD storage. For a handheld gaming PC, this is a lot of power, and managing it all is Asus's new zero gravity thermal system, which is using dual fans to keep not only the ROG cool, but also quiet. For wireless connectivity, we have support for Wi-Fi 6E and also Bluetooth 5.2, which, thanks to Windows 11, you have the ability to connect all your favorite wireless peripherals and accessories to it, such as the Xbox controller and also your keyboard and peripherals, and pretty much game away. It's amazing to see that this is where we are with the specs and performance for a handheld gaming PC in this size and form factor. And speaking of Windows 11, let's talk about software. From the original intro statement, yes, Windows 11 can indeed be considered on a handheld gaming PC. So everything you know and love about Windows 11, from things like snap layout, external display support with the USB-C port, and even Bing AI integration, is all here, making the everyday easier. But in the case of the ROG Ally, it's really about Windows 11 making it easier to play with the built-in Xbox app, built-in Xbox controller support, and also the Xbox Game Bar overlay and support for the Asus Armoury Crate and Command Center software. Let's start with Armoury Crate. You can access this with the dedicated Armoury Crate button on the right side, just above the right analog stick. From here, it's broken into 3 sections, which are Game Library, Settings, and Content. Game Library gives you quick access to all your games installed on your Asus ROG Ally. Settings is where the magic happens, giving you access to customize the ROG Ally, from being able to remap and reassign commands to the controls, changing also the visual look to Armoury Crate itself, and also having access to the RGB lighting controls, the ability to also edit the command center, and more. Once you edit your command center with the key features and also commands you want quick access to, then you can also activate and access the command center with the dedicated button, which is slightly above the D-pad on the left side. Once active, you have quick access to things like the display brightness, volume, and power. In addition to quick access to the things mentioned above, the operating mode, resolution, and also the control mode and more is something you have access to. This is the quickest way to tune and change the settings of the ROG Ally to manage things like the battery and also gaming performance. Okay, let's talk about gaming performance. Our games of choice will be Gears 5, Forza Horizon 5, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. These games are at the heart of PC Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, with over 100 plus high quality console games and PC games, and with new games added all the time and day one release for first party Xbox Studios games and more. A quick reference point before we look at the performance numbers for the Asus ROG Ally and the 3 games mentioned. The Asus ROG Ally has 3 operating modes for performance. Silent mode, which operates at 10 watts, performance mode, which operates at 15 watts, and turbo mode, which operates at 25 watts. When the ROG Ally is plugged in with the official included 65 watt charger, the 25 watt turbo mode does go up to 30 watts for maximum performance and comes in handy for more intense games. We ran our performance numbers and benchmarks with the plugged in turbo mode at 30 watts. Starting with Gears 5, using the in-game benchmark at 720p with the medium preset, we averaged 78 FPS. Next was 720p at high preset with an average of 65 FPS. Switching to 1080p at medium preset netted us 51 FPS, and 1080p at high preset with 42 FPS. Next is Forza Horizon 5, using again the in-game benchmark at 720p with the medium preset, we averaged 71 FPS. Next is 720p at the high preset with an average of 69 FPS. Switching then to 1080p at medium preset netted us 59 FPS, and 1080p at high preset with 54 FPS. Last but not the least is Ori and the Will of the Wisp. With gameplay at 720p with the balanced preset, we average 175 FPS. With 720p at the high preset, we average 135 FPS. Switching to 1080p at the balanced preset netted 130 FPS, and 1080p at high preset netted us 80 FPS. These range of results should give you an idea of the performance headroom available on the Asus ROG Ally when experiencing dedicated gaming on board. This can indeed change and vary based on the operating mode when unplugged, but overall, this is the stuff of dreams, having this level of gaming handheld at the performance level. Yeah, this is great. For the battery life and charging, the ROG Ally is using a 40 watt-hour battery cell and supports 65 watt fast charging with the included USB-C charger, with charging times from 0 to 50% in approximately 30 minutes. Battery life itself can vary depending on the operating profiles, brightness, apps, and games being played, which can range between 1.5 hours up to 5 hours. Let's wrap this up and ask the question, who is the Asus ROG Ally for any and everyone who has finally wanted the ability to carry their dedicated gaming PC library with them and game in more places on the go? Then this is the device to consider. That is it with our overview of the Asus ROG Ally. If you found this video useful, then be sure to like, subscribe, and turn the notifications so you don't miss any future videos here on Expert Zone UK and I. See you later. Bye.